Today's topic, Kanye, Kyrie, and the Jews. Hey, listen, we walking on a thin ice, you feel me? This is how every fucking black artist has been talking about this issue. They'll be like, hey, we don't support or condone that kind of time, but these are my, So why don't we cut through the bullshit and let's talk about it? I'm going to ask you first. How do you, you're aware Kanye West, Kyrie Irving have been reprimanded either by big companies like Adidas that have cut their ties with Kanye, or the Brooklyn Nets who suspended Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, and told him he had a bunch of demands, including sensitivity training before he could come back to work, over the fact that he endorsed or kind of highlighted a documentary or a movie of sorts that was on Amazon. He was trying to tell people to go watch it, and that documentary was a little bit spicy, you know? Alluded to some anti-Semitic stuff, some mustache man thing. It was kind of crazy, allegedly.
So you're gonna go after Kyrie for having just retweeting the link to that documentary, but you're not gonna go after Jeff Bezos for having that on his platform? Was it the money? What's going on? Huh? Hold on. I asked him a question. Huh? You're not going to go after the actual platform that this thing is on, that you're against? You're going to go after the player? Huh? Nah, speak up. I didn't hear. Yeah, that's it. The 6 things that you have to do to go back to, I think that's a bit much. That's me. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. The second thing, if I talk about Kanye, whatever. Kanye, whether you like Kanye or not, who you think is a coon or whatever, I'm going to say this. Adidas, you severed your ties with Kanye, but you're still gonna sell the Yeezys. I am not having none of it. None. It's all about the money.
So you saying you got money, but you're not buying?
I got the money. It's right there. Not buying. The inconsistency is that secret. You haven't me saying it, but it's crazy. Yeah. When they said that, oh yeah, no, we're still gonna, we do not agree with, but we're still gonna sell the price. God damn.
From my perspective, seeing the media and these organizations reprimand Kyrie or Kanye, I suspect that this didn't lower anti-Semitism in any type of way. If anything, it just fomented it and increased it in a lot of communities. You have to get at the root of it, which is a lot of people kind of parody this trope that Jewish people are part of some kind of grand conspiracy or that they have all the power. And then the moment this kind of stuff is brought up, everyone says anti-Semitic, and they try to lobby some kind of criticism or try to get these people to pay for the things that they've said. Even Dave Chappelle recently, in his monologue, people have come at him for saying he's normalizing anti-Semitism. I remember one point during this whole thing, Dave talks about the fact that he worked in Hollywood for a long time. And he's like, there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood. And people are like, oh my God, here's the thing. You getting on your account and yelling like, oh, anti-Semitism. Guess what? If you've ever worked in Hollywood, there's a lot of Jews, whether you like it or not. And if our response to that statement is inherently just, get this person, get rid of this person, you know what the average person is looking at that thing and thinking? Did they say a lie? Because if they didn't, why are you trying to cancel them or trying to get them reprimanded? So instead of always turning to immediately just being like, oh, anti-Semitism, why don't you do the smart thing, which is just demystify the reasons why Jewish folks may be overrepresented in positions of leadership in Hollywood, or demystify the reason why Biden's cabinet is like 50% Jewish. Like, even though these are such a small population, only time we see them represented in media is when they're at the upper echelons of society. That's generally how we internalize Jewish people. The thing I'm trying to get at is, as a black person, the only time we ever heard about Jewish people was either like when they were running some company or when they were referenced in rap songs or hip-hop music videos. If you're walking through the street and you meet a Jewish person, you might not even know they're Jewish because they just represent as white presenting. The only time you really internalize someone's Jewish is when you hear about them achieving things. Right? It's not like Asians. I see Asians at my corner store. I see them in the streets. They're visible. They're on the buses with me. I don't know when I'm next to a Jewish person. So my only media interpretation of Jewish people is in positions of power or in rap songs being spoken about very poorly. Get me? And as someone who's digested hip hop, all I ever heard since the 90s is like, these niggas are stealing our money. These niggas are doing that. The Jewish people control us, right? That is all I ever heard. And then I look and I got Biden's cabinet that's 50% Jewish. That's all you're seeing from a media perspective. So that's where folks have to come in and demystify the reason why. Because right now, I don't know why. Because if you don't, we're still going to see what it is. We just won't know why it's there. You get what I'm trying to say? And to just draw a quick parallel, black people are overrepresented when it comes to crime in North America. If someone says, yo, black people commit a lot of crime, and you're
that's racist.
You got to do the extra step and be like, the reason why they're so overrepresented is due to cultural, socioeconomic issues, poverty. Then you demystify it so you understand, okay, once you remove a lot of these factors, actually the crime rate drops significantly until the point where it's like not that different from... Here's something that is true, okay? And I actually linked to somebody who really studied Jewish history and was a scholar of such. And they talk about the fact that during the 50s and the 60s, the people who were either the co-owners or owners of a lot of the record labels, okay, were Jewish people. And these were people who were signing these people to exploitative deals, where they're either stealing their money, stealing a lot of the cuts of their artists, and basically going through the process where they were taking advantage of black people in these positions. Now, if you understand the history of black folks in North America, there's a lot of exploitation where they feel a lot of the wealth that black people generated has been siphoned out of the community. And when you constantly see media representation of Jewish people and stealing those, as well as historical context that makes that shit true, you can understand why there's a bit of a negative sentiment and animosity. Like, this might surprise y'all, but most black people did not give a fuck about Kanye's comments about Jewish people. They didn't really care about what Kyrie did because their relationship with the Jewish people was like, oh yeah, that shit sounds true. So until you demystify that, most black people are not gonna care. And then you punish these people, whether you feel it's justified or not, they're just going to build that animosity even further. So this is why I'm trying to say the dialogue needs to be a bit better.
We're talking about the music and Jewish people, and it's crazy.
Oh. There's a bunch of bars.
I remember when I was listening to the Fugees. Uh-huh. You know the Fugees was big for me, right? That's the first time I saw some Haitian people being well represented and being proud to be Haitian and stuff like that. Now, before that era, it was not good to be black or to be like Haitian, even like whatever. And I remember I used to be underrated. Now I take Heinz, make my shit constipated. I'm more concentrated. So on my day off with David Sonnenberg, I play golf. Everything is a reference to a CEO of Sony and this and that. Once upon a criminal, Mazel Tov. Probably when I'm man before I'm black, I'm first human. I protect the right like Frederick Douglass with the slave. Like it was always. If you listen to hip hop, there's always a reference.
Yep.
And saying, well, there's a lot. There's a lot of Jews there's a lot of Jews. There's a lot of black people in a lot of industries, right? There's a lot of people in rap. That's racist. Okay. There's a lot of people in the NFL. That's racist. There's a lot of black people in track and field. None of this is racist and what's good. We could say that. When we talk about white people, but though we could say, well, white people in a position of power. Yeah, that's bad. But the other overrepresentation we can't really talk about. And then when we do, because we just want to question, we can't do that. It's not, you have to understand how weird it sounds, guys.
Is that true though?
What?
That they just want to question? Because if we being honest, let me put on my little, you know what I mean? And I got the hat on, okay? Yeah. If I'm being honest, a lot of people are not just being like, well, I'm quite inquisitive. Some of them being like, yo, listen, bro, how you feel about the Illuminati? Because the Jews run this shit.
Yeah, I heard that thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
I know you like it halal, but you going back to like it kosher too, motherfucker. Yeah, you about to get it.
I understand that, but it's like we can't even. There's no. You can't maneuver this thing. You can't maneuver or ask because you're always walking on eggshells. That's us. Whether you want to question or you're like, that's. The minute you talk about something, then you get X'd. That's weird. And you know how they say, like, hey, if you want to know who's oppressing you, just check who you can't talk about. Man, we can't talk about y'all like you talk about us. We can't. Not even state a fact. You're going to be classified. It's sus.
Are you trying to say you feel oppressed by the Jews?
Nope. Not me.
I don't have that deep of a curiosity about this group of people. I don't. It's not something I really research or take an interest in. I'm just telling you what I've heard through my peripheries pretty much my entire life growing up. And so that's why I wasn't surprised by any of these comments, because this sounded like a lot of the shit I was hearing in hip-hop pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my suggestion is just that when it comes to this conversation, because you're looking at two communities that are coming from a place of, like, damage and extreme hurt, right? You have the Jewish people dealing with their Holocaust and, anti-Semitism throughout the world. You got black folks who are dealing with, Jim Crow and exploitation and through the media industry.
And that's just in the U.S.
But
in the world, I'm saying
US.
what you're saying, the Jim Crow and everything stuff, that's in the U.S. But you have the apartheid, you have a lot of other things going on throughout the world. So you got your thing, we got our thing.
So all this to say, I think a bit of demystifying in regards to why things are in the place that they are. Like I drew the comparison with black crime or whatever it is. There's got to be a better education in regards to a lot of this stuff. Not just, we got 6 demands and you're going to think, do you honestly believe that Kyrie goes through this process and he's changed his opinions? You going to put a grown man in timeout and you think you're going to change his mind? No. If anything, his fan base was bolstered. Even though he may have lost endorsement deals, in terms of the actual ideas, they've just grown more popular and anti-Jewish sentiment is increased. So the strategy that they're employing in order to fix the problem is backfiring. Yeah. So more conversations are needed in order to make things more sane. And not this shit where you go like, get rid of his brand deals, but we'll still sell the shoes. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Are people going to be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, Kyrie's not bad. Or they're going to be like, wait a minute. What's that thing you was posting about? Let me see that.
Yep.
Let me see that shit.
Yep.
What's it about? That's what's going to happen. More than the opposite. So, like, the way you, like, when you're saying that it's backfiring, yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah. I really tend to agree with that.
My socials blew up with, like, on Twitter or whatever, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it was hashtag the Jews, it wasn't exactly positive.
I mean,
you know what I mean? When they were talking about Facebook, it wasn't exactly the greatest thing. So when I'm seeing this, I'm like, I think it's backfiring. Just my thoughts.
Is it a couple of Jewish people that care, or most Jewish people don't? Like, they're like, man, that's not.
No, they care.
The Jewish people?
Jewish people are like genuinely worried about the prospect of anti-Semitism, or because they understand like that stuff may potentially lead to another cause, right? So, yeah, they're actually worried.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, let us know what you guys think.